Okay, greetings everybody. Welcome back to another Anis Productions cast. Today we're finally covering the full Central Command tournament finals. And yes, this is like should have been covered before, but I'm doing this, getting this out of the way so that I have time to do the One Vision tournament cast, which I've already done. I've just got to just download the stream and put it onto YouTube, which will be should be on in the next few days or so. But yes, this is going to be the tournament finals, best of 7, is it? I think, I don't quite remember. I think it's a best of 7. Anyway, so we have Bike Rush Owns down at the bottom right as our first competitor for the finals, and he's going to be playing as a red GDI, and in the top left we have Luva Scott playing as a cyan Nod. We're on Tournament Terror, as you can see, and it's getting off to a brilliant head start. It seems Bike Rush already getting the middle tower, or as you know, if you get the middle tower early in the game, you'll have quite a tremendous amount of vision. It really does help you get that scouting information in, and it does keep make sure that you keep tabs on your opponent. It's very useful to capture that tower. Luva's got going into some pretty early tanks in response to this attack from Bike Rush. Obviously APCs and Pitbulls, although the missile squads will be causing a few problems here. The Bike's not really that strong enough to get in there and get some hits in, but he's going to try. He should try and be a little more aggressive. So long as Bike Rush is at the front, he's going to keep Luva in his base, and that is not what you want when you're playing like a tournament game. So if he can get in there, that'll be brilliant. And it looks like he's just pushing Bike away, but not enough so that he's going to be threatening him at all. Bike only has a couple of APCs and a Pitbull. Obviously both APCs have missile squads in them, as you can see. Well, no, they don't. Oh, okay, I thought they did. They must have dropped them off or something. But obviously, the tanks here going to be protecting those harvesters. It does allow Bike Rush that little bit of time to get the second refinery out. Although, I think, Luva Scott was about to make that move. So those missile squads did actually get evacuated and get put into that middle tower there. The Bike is pretty much ready to go into Tier 2. Although he might go for the second War Factory, because that is also a good play. He'll be able to get many more vehicles out to proceed to the enemy base. But again, Tier 2 would not be a bad strategy, although he seems to go into barracks spam, or at least infantry spam, which again, you know, it isn't too bad. I personally don't like this because you're putting a lot of effort into infantry that can get killed in many more ways than vehicles. I find that vehicles, for me, are way more robust than infantry, but you can do a lot more things with infantry, and, you know, it's GDI. If you put a lot of infantry in APCs, they generally tend to do well. But we have a couple of Black Hand squads coming in from Luva Scott, and he's going to be defending the base with a Shredder turret. Bike Rush is nicely going to be holding the line for a little bit, although he's going to have to evacuate down to the bottom and try and loot round. Flame Tank's going to be coming out of the war factories from Luva Scott, and he's going to push them towards the base of Bike Rush, and it seems that Luva Scott is actually garrisoning some buildings over at the top of the map there to protect the Tiberium spikes, so we're going to be seeing some garrisons there. A few destroyed vehicles near the Tiberium field on Luva Scott's side, and Bike Rush is going to be retreating to gather more forces up. He's on low power, he's quickly advanced to Tier 3, so Mammoth tanks will be coming out, and Juggernauts very quickly. Luva Scott has gone Tier 3 as well. It's a little slower. Although Bike Rush, I think, just got the power on very close to when Luva built his Tier 3. So, concerning tech, they're very close together, as in close to getting their Tier 3 units out. They're not really that far apart from being completely in sync. You know what I'm trying to say? It's one player hasn't really gotten theirs out much earlier than the other. But we will see a lot of Tier 1 units being scattered about near the Tiberium fields. As of now, he needs that early protection to hopefully stall for Tier 3 as much as he can. Save for Luva Scott, although Luva really hasn't got many forces. They're mostly backed up inside the main base. We've got some avatars coming out. They will be guarding over these harvesters here. Not too sure how useful they'll be, considering the force that's coming into the base. We've got some more infantry being dropped off. There are some snipers. Bike Rush is probably prepping for some Juggernauts to come out and hopefully harass the harvesters, and maybe even do some base obliterating. I don't quite know, but it seems that's the play he's going to make. He's going to push up the MCV and possibly put down some defenses. Obviously, he's got tier 3, so sonic emitters will be most likely coming out of the MCV. The avatars, they're not really going to be too effective, considering there's quite a bit of forces. Yeah, there comes the Juggernaut. Quite a few forces around the MCV. There comes the Sonic Emitter. Harvesters are just going to get shreked. And the tanks, where are the tanks? They were there in the main base, and they have just disappeared. Okay, so they've gone down to the bottom, it seems. They've tried to destroy the Tibsburg, and I think they were successful, although they might be just the infantry. But I don't know where the tanks have gone. Bike Rush really having all the firepower at the moment. Luva, there we go, there come the tanks, but they're just too few. I don't know what happened here. Like, Luva Scott should have had more forces out by now. He had the resources and he had the tech. I'm very surprised that he didn't have as many forces out as he did. I think the lack of tier 1 units really did it for him. Although he has got that Vapor Bomb down, he has done a tremendous amount of damage to the structures here, but I don't think he's actually got enough firepower to bring them down once and for all. The Sonic Emitter will be the nail in the coffin for these little forces here. The Obelisk of Light will be going down extremely quickly as well. That one avatar on its own, trying to kill the Sonic Emitters. The MCV does in fact go down to that one Scorpion tank, but it's not going to be enough. Oh, there's the Cat Missile again on the double refinery, but again, I really don't think that's enough. It's a major hit, but Luva Scott has not got any forces left. It only takes a bit of a push from Bike Rush now to just go into the base, and there we go. So we've got Luva quitting that. As I said, it's not enough. I'm surprised he didn't have as many forces as he should have done. But there is 1-0 to Bike Rush heading into the next game, and hopefully it'll be as action-packed as it was in this one. Game 2 has begun on pipeline problems. On the top of the map, we have Lumos playing as an orange nod, and on the bottom, as his opponent, is going to be Bike Rush playing as a green screen. So, yeah, the matchup last time was not great. Luva Scott really didn't do well in the early game, it doesn't seem, because he didn't really have many units on the battlefield. I'm a little bit concerned about that, considering he had the resources. I'm not sure if he was too preoccupied in getting the avatars out, but that was a risk that he took, and it didn't really pan out well for him. So for this map, usually the play you want to make is to go not Harvester. Oh my god. You're supposed to go Crane into double ref. I mean, that's generally what you should do, because the blue field in the early game is huge. You want to capitalize on that as soon as possible, and that's why both players have gone Crane into double ref into the blue field. And then you should go into the green field, and then go down to the right and go to these green fields in the middle of the map. Now, if you play the faction well, this map is really good for Scrin, which is why Bike Rush has chosen it. Usually, what you do is, obviously, as I've mentioned, the refs into the blue, and then you just tech switch into higher tiers as quickly as possible, get some units out, a base walk towards the middle of the map, where these green Tiberium fields are sitting, and this is where you put all the warp spheres and gravity stabilizers, so they can charge out tier 3 and send them over to the enemy base. They always go to the right. That's what you do with Scrin. That is really the best way to win on this map. You just charge to the right, spam out tier 3, and send them over to the enemy base. Which is why I think Bike Rush basically has this in the bag already. He knows how to play Scrin. He knows what the weaknesses and strengths of the faction are. If Luva Scott can pull something out of his hat that really does some damage to the Scrin, then that would be fantastic. Double War Factory already. No scouting units. Well, there was a scouting unit. There was the Raider Buggy, but he's not really gotten a... He's not even gotten anything to deal with the Seeker. He's going to allow Bike Rush to see everything. Triple War Factory beginning. Not too sure how well this is going to go exactly. He's spending a lot of resources in the early game. There's another refinery. He might want to sell one of these war factories. He's got quite a few tanks out at the moment. Bike Rush, on the other hand, has gotten a few units out, but he's mainly focused on eco. Scrin's the best on eco. And he's just captured that tips back as well. We've got a scout coming from Luva Scott from the top. Obviously, we've got the militants coming down near the mutant hovel. And we've got a scout again around about near the main base. Going to be trying to scout the refineries. The tier 3 goes up. the Gunwalker deals with the infantry. Ooh, and there's an aggressive stasis shield. Actually, this is a pretty good play, considering that it will delay Lewis Scott's tier 3 by quite a bit, and Lewis Scott really needs to build up that tier 3 quickly. He's building up a lot of Scorps right now. Maybe want to focus on that money into stealth tanks and avatars and like rockets. That is probably what you should do as Nod, instead of putting out loads of Scorps. Obviously, again, and possibly something you want to do is to assault Skrin's economy early game as soon as possible, but generally that doesn't work, especially with somebody that knows how to play the faction well. Obviously, we have Devourer tanks with their charged up beams. The tanks are not even being grouped together, they're just charging straight for the blue tib. What a suicidal mission they're on. Obviously, Tripod's already coming out for Bike Rush, and Liver Scott not managing to get into that area quick enough. He's having to retreat back to the base. He should sell one of these war factories and try put out some tier 3 and get some avatars and stealth tanks up. There's tier 3, but that's way slower than how when Bike Rush got it out. So he's massively underpowered already, and he's I think Bike Rush is actually getting out these devastated warships. I don't see a signal transmitter. Usually that isn't needed. You just get devastated warships with tripods and then you're basically done. But sometimes you may want to put one down just for distraction purposes, get some of the units that aren't directly being commanded to misfire. That means that allows all your other units to fire upon them. That's a lot of Scorpions. I'm not too sure how effective they'll be, but there are a couple of avatars coming out. I've got some Venoms as well. Yeah, they're a good counter for Devastators as well. There comes the stealth tanks. Okay, so he is starting to climb back. Lewis Scott beginning to form the best counter against Skrin using Nod, but that Devastator warship really will be causing some problems for him. He needs to bring those Venoms in as soon as possible. He hasn't got the laser upgrade. It is going to be a bit of a problem. The stealth tanks are going to be dealing out quite a bit of damage there. It seems like they're going to be taking down the Devastator warship. Yes, they will be, but another one will be coming out straight away. I don't think the stealth tanks will be able to get in there quick enough or close enough to be able to dispatch that heavy air unit. But the Scorpion tank's going around the other side. I think he's going to try and snipe down the Ion Storm column as quickly as possible to allow the stealth tanks to move in, but I don't think it's going to be successful. Bike Rush immediately on that attack there, or potential attack, pushing the Predator tanks. Scorpion tanks back, and we've got the avatars being decimated as well. Yeah, it really doesn't take much for Skrin to quickly overpower Nod, especially when Liver Scott has not really gotten much on the field. Yes, he is pumping out the right amount of units, but he's just not producing as much. Those are a massive amount of Scorpions. I don't know how effective they'll be, but it seems that they're doing okay. He needs to get rid of that storm column, which he is doing right now. If the second one goes down, he'll be able to send the stealth tanks in, which will really help. But the Scorpion tanks have just been cut down way too quickly for that to actually be any effective at all. So he's going to have to retreat, and that allows Bike Rush to build up a bit more. Obviously, a storm column or two isn't really a big loss. He just can rebuild that again. And it looks like Bike Rush will just be out-tempering and he'll just be having way more resources than his opponent. He's dried up all the fields over there. It's all at the front now. He'll just be pushing slowly into Luver Scott's base. And that is how you win with Skrin. It's always the same play every single game. And it's very consistent, as you can see. Like, Luver Scott has still not gotten enough firepower to deal with all these forces, and he's sending his Venoms in way too early, because now they're just going to get decimated by the anti-air units. Although he might be able to deal with one of these devastated warships, which he does. We've got some avatars going here. Does decapitate an annihilator tripod, but it's still not going to be enough. Storm Column will be definitely doing a lot of damage here. Luber Scott not quite out the game yet, but he really is sacrificing too many units for his own good. Not really keeping many back and keeping them alive as he should, because he needs as many units as he can, and I really don't think now is the brilliant time to just go willy-nilly attack these Annihilator tripods. In fact, I think he's got too little to actually survive this next attack when it does come in in about a minute or so at most. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Liver Scott just quits. He just hasn't got the firepower. He sent everything in way too early, and he just suffered for it. And that's the one of the cheeky things about Sprint. You can just sit in your base and let your opponent come to you. If you can defend well, your opponent will be wasting their own money, usually trying to dismantle your defenses. and that means you can just wait for their opponent to kill themselves, basically, because they're wasting all the units, and then you go in. And that's exactly what happened here. And this is why Screen is so good on this map. It's just, it's unreal. If they know how to play Screen, 99% of the time, they will win with the exact same strategy. Slightly different if it's a mirror, though, but that's something for a different video. Anyway, let's go on to the third game. Okay, third game commencing. We are on Small Town USA, and of course our lovely, lovely dear players are here as well. I did not check before I started this, so we have Lever Scott in the top position playing as a side nod, and we have Bicroshodes playing a red nod in the bottom position. So nicely, this map, I think. I'm not sure exactly whether this map is, if Small Town USA is better for Nod or GDI, considering they both have their strengths and weaknesses. But being a map where there's basically only ever 3 lanes, I don't know. It does have that versatility where if you play Nod, you have quite a few places to go, quote unquote. Even though it's basically an arena, it's 3 lanes and stuff like that. It's basically Summoner's Rift, but in Command and Conquer. But it seems like if you do play Nod, you've got a lot of places to hide and attack from. And if you're GDI, you can just hunker down and completely sever passage through one of these corners here. And just march your way through there. Or you can just go straight through the middle and obliterate all the structures. Or use them, you know. So both GDI and Nod have they have their ways of playing this map. I don't really think Scrin fits this well into the game, into this map specifically. But yeah, Nod is a good choice, I think, for this. So obviously, Lever Scott beginning with getting some harvesters out, going eco, and he's already established tier 2 in his base. No obvious early expansion going towards either of the corners here. Bike Rush on the meanwhile is being attacked by Lever Scott. Few harvesters are being damaged, but none too seriously, so that he doesn't have to pull any of them away. Although the bikes are quite persistent in trying to get some damage in, it seems. War Factory will be spewing some of their own bikes out in Bike Rush's control, obviously. Shredder Turret goes up, but that's just defend off against the bikes, which are pretty weak. We've got a Scorpion going out on the top left. We'll be seeing the Raider Buggy. Doesn't really go for it. It will be going around and potentially killing some harvesters. Tier 2 gets sold, Tier 3 gets built, Avatars will be coming out very shortly. We've got Bike Rush, he's not got any Tier 2, oh, he's got Tier 3 right at the corner there, which is, I was about to say that it was surprising that he hasn't got any Tier 3, but it appears that he has, and that was me almost missing that, a Megalol. So we've got a lot of Tier 1 units. Finally, Lever Scott has actually built up a little bit of a force, but again, it's not enough, I don't think. It's actually a little bit more acceptable. Oh, that was a big cat missile. It's a good thing that the refineries, of course, were not put together. They were the farthest apart as they could have been. There's an idle harvester over there as well. But back to my original train of thought, was that Lever Scott, actually, it's not too bad that Lever Scott hasn't really got much right now, because, oh, and there's an exchange of another Catalyst Missile coming from Lever Scott this time, going on the refinery. But yeah, because Bike Rush puts a lot of money into getting harvesters, into teching up, instead of putting out units like he normally does. It does give Lever Scott a bit more chance to get his units together, get some protection, potentially get some defenses to stave off until Tier 3 and get for those Avatars to come out. We do have some blue bikes killing his own War Factory? What? I don't quite know what to make of this. What is this? Yeah, he was firing on his own structure. Okay, that was weird. I thought that was a glitch then. I thought that must be Bike Rush's bikes, and they're not showing up as such. But there we go. So we've got an MCB coming out for Lever Scott. I think Bike Rush also put out an additional MCB from his war factory. There is one over there. Yeah, he put out an additional MCB. For some reason, Lever Scott's MCB is unpacked. Is he wanting to go to both corners at once? This is a pretty risky move. I mean, he's got one unpacked, but he's going to have to fight on 2 or more fronts at once, and that's really dangerous. If you're managing to divert your opponent's attention too much, then that's an easy win, because you've got all the controls, you know where the battle's going to go. And I think Lever Scott is actually spreading himself out way too much in this state of the game, because he's only got one self-tank out, he hasn't really got many tier 3 units. To be fair, Bike Rush has not gotten any either. He's just got some Scorpion tanks. Although this MCV looks a particularly juicy target. It looks like it's going to be in danger. He may even get destroyed. I don't even know. Oh, he just unpacks in time. Puts down a refinery here. I'm not sure about this though. There goes an obelisk. And I think he's okay. Okay, so Bike Rush has got his own obelisk down there. Very risky, I would say. That MCV could have easily been slaughtered. It's lucky that Bike Rush did not bring any more units than 3 Scorpion tanks. Otherwise, I would have seriously thought that MCV would have died. Bike Rush's obelisk just survives, by the way, because of the assistance of the Scorpion tanks, and now he can just spam obelisks all the time. I think that's the same play for Lever Scott as well, but he's not really managing that well. He's got an Avatar coming up from Bike Rush. He's going to be assaulting the MCV. Just one, just to harass a little bit. We've got a couple of obelisks. They're going to be firing off at the other couple of obelisks made by Lever Scott, but obviously one of each they're not in range. I think that was a hand of nod. That was a refinery from Lever Scott that just went down there. We've got more avatars coming up from the bottom side, from the right side of the map. They're going to be assaulting the MCV there, and Bike Rush is going to be aggressively moving it up with more avatars. You see, this is the problem. I mean, obelisks are great and all, but they can quickly be swarmed, and this is exactly what I was meaning about Lever Scott dividing his attention too much, because now he's being attacked on 2 fronts. And he doesn't really know what to do. He's too stressed out of trying to keep both of them alive, and in doing so, he'll just let both of them die because he's not got enough resources in anywhere to be able to stem the tide of imminent destruction. So Lever Scott has again lost this one, although he might be able to keep this outpost, but I don't think he'll keep it for long, because Bike Rush will then move up and claim Lever Scott's main space there, and that'll be it. So, I really didn't think that was a very good idea. Lever Scott not making the best plays. I mean, I can understand what he's trying to do, but execution not really great. And again, lack of units. It's basically how I play. I play with a lack of units. Oh dear, funny. Bike Rush will be winning this one very clearly, though. So that's going to be it for this game, I see. Although, yeah, I mean, it will be the aim for this game. It'll take a few more minutes for this outpost to go, but not that long. He hasn't got much power. He needs to build up another power plant to get these obelisks up online. But yeah, there we go. Third game done. Oh, there we go. He's just quit. Cool. So fourth game. Let's see how this goes. This is probably like the last game of this best of 7. Right, fourth and potentially final game of this finals video. We are on Tournament Dust Bowl, the best urban map in my opinion, and we have Bike Rush playing as a red nod in the top position. His opponent is going to be Lever Scott, going to be playing as a cyan nod in the bottom position, and it seems that both players are just going to go for the tip spikes as they usually do. Now, I've said this before, and I probably have to say it again. I like the map. I like this version of the map where you have the tip spikes in the middle. It really does create some early game pressure like no other map can. I know that players don't like it because you're having to force yourself to try and capture it. Bike Rush has got the classic Shadow Rush, going to be immediately annihilating that engineer. But you're putting a lot of resources into the early game to try and capture these tip spikes. Yeah, okay, fair enough. But at the same time, every other map, as far as I'm aware, doesn't give you that same feeling of urgency to get these tip spikes. These tip spikes are like the most important on this map. because if your enemy player captures both, that's a huge resource boost. So yeah, you are sort of forced into capturing them every time you play this map, but that's just a thing to expect when you play it. I know probably there's no poker versions, and I think that just takes the uniqueness and fun out of Tournament Dust Bowl, to be honest. I suppose it's nice, though, to not having to stress about if you're going to be capturing the tip spikes or not. And I'm hiccuping for no apparent reason, so bear with me here. But I love this version of the map. It's just so good. So, yeah, we do have some harvesters here. Lovely, lovely, juicy harvesters. Expansion going to be going out for Bike Rush. He's going to be walking towards the left. Obviously, that's where his expansion is. He's going to be getting those extra Tiberium crystals. And his opponent sweeping through the city, trying to desperately chase after these shadow teams, which are slowly falling. They are able to gain a bit of respite in this little structure, but not for long, until that gets taken out by some other beads. And we do have a little bit of gunfire through the middle. Oh dear. We do have a bit of gunfire through the middle, and they're going to be busy for a while, it seems. Double Wall Factory going up for a Bike Rush, and he's selling his MCV. This is strange. Okay, so he's going for an all-out strategy. I don't think this is the best play. Not at all. He hasn't even got the second ref on the expansion here. Yeah, he wouldn't have any defenses, but he briefly have more resources than he would have now. I think this is a very bad play here. Like, these bikes buggies would be very quickly overwhelmed. I think Luva has got enough room to go to tier 2, and then he'd probably go for tier 3, and that's where the power balance would be heavily favoured in Luva direction. I don't know if Bike Rush initially made this mistake just to let Luva win. I don't know. Oh my god. That was such a bad play. I don't know why he did that. Maybe that was a misclick. I think that was a misclick. Because he shouldn't have gone all out that quickly. That was a massive mistake. So that was very underwhelming. That's unfortunate. Well, okay, so we'll go on to the 5th game then. I don't think Bike Rush will be making the same mistake again. But yeah, we'll see you then. The last game has arrived in this best of 7. I swear to God it is a best of 7 because it's 4 wins to get past this finals, so it has to be a best of 7. Anyway, final game, everybody. We're on Barso Badlands. Luva is in the left position, playing as a sign nod. His opponent is Bike Rush, playing as a green screen in the right. So, Nod v Screen, probably the best 2 factions for this map, because they can be played quite aggressively. I generally tend to think if this is a really aggressive map, and oh my god, that is a lot of militants. I don't know exactly what he's doing here, but that is a lot of militants. Very interesting there. Don't know what he's going to be doing with all that infantry, but we'll see potentially later on. We do have a shadow team, wahey, but it's only the 1 squad. Did not really think about the fact that he should have put 2 down, unless I'm not seeing the 2nd squad, unfortunately. I can't. If I can turn on the thingy, I don't see it. I do not see it anywhere. Okay. So he only made 1 shadow squad. That is a big misplay. Because look at that. Now the power plant's healed. The ability is recharged on the shadows, but they have to hit it again, and it'll only bring it down to the same amount of health. He should have gotten another one in. So now Bike Rush knows that he's a shadow rush, and it's not even a good one. He doesn't even need to worry. He doesn't even need to worry. He could just sit back and just collect eco. His opponent is going around the back of the tip field. He's going to be collecting eco as well. Luva is still attacking this bunker in the middle with his militants, and he does capture the tip spike. But I still am not sure about these shadows, if they're still there. No, they are still there. They're in the Tiberium. Been a very weird start this game. We do have a buzzer going around the refinery for a bit of scouting coming from Bike Rush. MCV will be packing up and is being sent to over here in the middle of the map. Luva probably going to attempt a refinery placement underneath the bridge, and we've got an expansion from Bike Rush, very aggressive expansion. That looks like it came from an explorer, because there aren't any more drone platforms on the map, so that probably came from an explorer that got sold when the refineries were put down. But he's going to be getting a lot more resources than his opponent, it seems. Tanks are being made. Shadow teams are just they need to die. There's no use really for them. Saboteur. Oh, did he sell his MCV? Leave us, Scott. No. Oh my God, he's going all out. This is like the worst thing that you could be doing right now. This is the worst possible plan for this bit in the finals. Aluva Scott, you just shot yourself in the foot. Oh dear. Well, I really wasn't expecting this kind of end to come from the finals, to be honest, because now Lever Scott will be losing this quite dramatically, and he just hasn't got the resources to keep up. He's got one Tiberium field with 4 harvesters, which will, get destroyed. Sneaky little engineer coming around, and there we go. That was stupid. I don't know why you did that. That was very weird. Anyway, yeah, there you go. We have the games here, and that is going to be it. So, I'm sorry for the underwhelming end there, but there we go. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the One Vision tournament games. There's not really much to say here. I mean, I find it funny that the last 2 games both players went an all-in and they both failed. I don't know what happened there, but there we go. We've got Bike Shows being the winner of the finals, which isn't a surprise, but yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.